Hello everyone and welcome to the playlist of Python. So for today we are going to learn about what are decorators in Python and how it actually works. Before we start the definition part and the other things, we are just going to have some basic analogy that we already did in our previous classes also, like what actually decorators are and how they actually works. So to understand that, let's suppose I think we all love pizzas and the what we call fast foods. So if you just take an example of a pizza and you just go to a pizza store and ask for a pizza, and the chef gives you pizza without any toppings or without any extra topping cheese or something, you ask your chef, okay, sir, please add some toppings into it and add some extra cheese into it. So what your chef does, he's not going to bake it again. He's just adding some extra cheese and extra toppings onto your pizza and then serve it back to you. So the same thing what a decorator does. Decorator doesn't actually, you know, bake your whole code again. It just adds some toppings to your code and serve it to you again. So let's just have a small definition for that particular decorator. So what are decorators? So decorator in Python is a function that allows you to add a new functionality to another function without actually modifying its original code. So what it actually does, you already have a function, and suppose you wish to add some more functionality or something more into just adding something more into your previous function without actually changing that function, and that is what you will get, like that we can do with the help of a decorator. Many of you like are thinking na, why we are just not changing that particular function to add some more functionality. Suppose if you have a single function, you can do that. But suppose if you are having 300 function in the code, so you're not going to go and edit and change each function one by one. So for that, we are going to use some kind of decorators, and that decorator are going to use simply we just have to use this at the rate. That is the syntax of that particular decorator. We are just going to use that, and after using that particular thing, we just don't have to go to each and every function and do the changes. We just need to add that at the rate and the decorator name. It automatically changes that particular function and serve it in a better way. So let's start today's topic. I think if some of you are like coming from a background of JavaScript, so there we already did do these kind of things using higher order functions and something like that. So today we are going to just see what are decorators in Python with the help of some code and all. So let's directly jump into the coding thing. This is the whole theory part and some examples you can like go through it whenever you wish. Okay. So since we are here on the coding thing, let's just start with understanding what are decorators and how they are actually we are going to use. So we will be starting with a very basic example of a decorator. Before that, we just define a function named hello for that particular hello word thing, and we will be just printing that particular thing. It automatically gives me that particular thing. So we'll be printing that particular hello word, and we will be the just calling that particular function. We just need to do this and add this here, calling that particular function. And if I just run this particular thing, that is Python decorator.py. So this particular code gives me a hello world that we already did. I'm just like trying to give you that particular thing. So this particular code gives me this particular hello world thing. Now, if I wish to, add some greetings before saying hello or something like that. Suppose here we are having hello world. We are just going to give you a hello. Before that, we are going to, if I wish to have a, greeting before that, if I just wish to have this hello, which currently I am like using this hello the output. If I just wish to have an another greeting into it, like if I just wish to add a greeting into it, so what will I do? We just use a decorator. So let's go and just uh, define a decorator. Actually, we are not actually defining decorator. Decorators are also a function. So we just need to define the decorator once, and we are going to use it at multiple times. So to define a decorator, suppose if we just define a decorator function named uh, okay, so decorator name suppose greet, and for that greet, we are just going to use a function fx. You could use something fx or func function, anything, whatever. think you just need to do, and then we just need this. After that, we are going to use a wrapper. Like this is what we are going to use. Generally, what you use, suppose it is actually showing me, giving me an option to define another wrapper. On the place of wrapper, it is actually a wrapper which is wrapping all the things. But on the place of that, I'm just going to use a modified fx. We are going to modify that particular function fx, and after, okay, sorry, we are just going to modify that particular function fx, and while I'm modifying that, so what I want to modify in it, I just want to modify initially, like initially it will say a good morning or something, or and after the function runs it will say a thank you, like thank you for using this function or something like that. So we will be printing, and we will be printing a good morning something like this, and after that we will be, sorry, after that we will be running that particular function, that is actually fx. We will be calling that function here. After calling that particular function, I just wish to print that thank you for using this function, and we will be just returning the we will be just returning the particular modified fx function. Now, suppose while we are doing this particular thing, so this is a different, totally different function. This is a totally different function. Now it is actually suggesting me a at the rate greet. But what we will do, so that particular greet is a function. Actually, that particular greet is a decorator which we are going to use. That is a function. That particular function which we are going to use as a decorator. And suppose currently, if we just run this particular program, it will be saying just hello because we are just printing a hello here. But suppose if we wish to have that decorator here and we just add a decorator with the help of greet at the rate greet. And now if I just run this particular function, so see, initially like that your hello function, we are just calling hello your hello function. That hello function is giving you hello, but the decorator above it, which is a greet, it is giving a good morning, and then the function is running, and then the thank you for using this function, that decorator is running. So here is your function, and the decorator is actually running this particular print, and then your function, and then again the print. So these two prints are actually are coming here with the help of decorators. So I think this is a bit kind of a bit clear to you guys. But to understand this more clearly, like there are few more things into it. It's just not like this is a very basic function, but there are function which uses arguments or keyword arguments. So args and kwargs, which we already have discussed in our previous classes. So to do that, actually, we just need to have another example. Okay, as we've seen the whole Hello World program, now to learn more about the how we are going to use arguments and keyword arguments in the decorators, we're just going to use few things. Like we are going to have another example, and let's just take an example of like defining a simple addition function. Suppose simple x and y, and then we are just going to print the x plus y actually, and then we will be just calling that function like uh, add, and then we will be just having suppose okay 5 comma 3. Now if you just run this particular program currently, if you run this particular program currently, it will be showing 8. Of course, the above program, the greet program which we are currently using, it is not actually getting into it. We haven't added the decorator that at the rate syntax. So what will happen if we add the at the rate syntax? If you guys could answer. Okay, let's see. So I think most of you thinking like if you add greet here and if we just run this particular program, then it will show good morning, then 8, and then thank you for using the function. Let's see what happens. Oh, it shows an error. Why? Why it shows an error? Okay, let's just understand why it is showing that error. The error is actually coming. This particular function, the add function, is actually using some arguments, and we haven't defined any arguments in our modified fx function, the decorator. So for that, to do that, we just need to add the arguments there. So to add the argument, we already have discussed what we need to do. To add the args, we just use a asterisk as args. And if we used to have the keyword arguments, the kwargs gs, we will be using this. Similarly, similarly, if we just wish to have, okay, it is already showing it, but we just need to add this args and quirks here also in the fx function, in the function itself also. So what this are actually, args is for actually tuple and quirks is for actually dictionary. We already have discussed about this. Now, if I just run this particular program, what will happen? See, so now, since we have added the arguments for the infinite arguments which we can take in that particular decorator. So now the good morning's there, then the function which is having the arguments and keyword arguments. Currently, it is not using. We could use, or we just if we don't need it, just don't use that. So we'll be having that, and then the printing that thank you for using this function. So how many functions you will make? You just need to add a at the rate decorator name there, and that function is going to use that decorator. So it is simply, it is decorator are the pipe. Here there is a raw function. You just throw that raw function through the pipe, and then at the end you will get a function which is decorated with flowers and colors and something like that. So I think you guys have like enjoyed the class about the decorators, how it actually works and what are they. uh, where we actually use that, the usages of this particular decorators are the places like logging, the authentication part, the validation part, the timings. So we will be going to do all those things, all those examples also, and there are a few examples already in here. So you just go through that example. The logging example are here, and the other examples are there. So we'll be doing those examples along with the questions in our next part. Till then, thank you guys, and let's meet after in the next class. Thank you.